Good afternoon. Controversial plans to close or merge 7 Aberdeen primary schools have been raised at First Minister's questions. It comes as parents consider legal action against the local authority's decision to approve the proposals. Sharon Donaldson reports.
Anger and tears outside Aberdeen City Council chambers last night. After hours of discussion yesterday and months of campaigning to save their schools, councillors voted in favour of the closure plans. The council agreed to shut the city's Victoria Road and Causeway End primaries and to merge St Macher and Don Bank. Byron Park Nursery is to be merged with Westerton Primary, and Hilton Nursery has also been axed. Today, local MSP Lewis MacDonald is questioning whether procedures have been followed properly.
There is a lot of concern about the consultation process and the failure to follow the statutory guidance issued by Scottish ministers. I think the decisions to close these schools have been taken for the wrong reasons. They've been taken to save money, not to benefit the children. They are all schools which serve disadvantaged areas. I think the decisions that the council have taken are disgraceful ones, and I think the parents deserve full support in calling for those decisions to be set aside.
Families opposed to the closures have fought a determined and very public campaign to keep them open. But the full council vote of 23 in favour, 14 against was a decision none of the parents and pupils wanted to hear.
We're definitely going to fight on, definitely. We might even go and look into the legalities of things. So it's not over.
I mean, I think they'd made their decision a long time ago anyway, back in February. The whole consultation process has been a farce.
We will fight on until the lock goes on the door. We will fight on.
The local authority says falling school rolls mean the cost of maintaining the buildings doesn't add up.
Populations in the city shift. There are times when more schools are needed in one area than another. We're looking at 30,000 school places and only 22,000 school children. So we've had a duty to actually do something to try and combat that.
We are spending money on buildings when we should be spending money on people's education. We also have a situation where we are soon going to have 9 new schools and 1 totally refurbished school under the 3 Rs project. And if we didn't react with the rest of the schools estate, we would have a tale of 2 schools estates, 1 fit for the 21st century and 1 not.
Parents opposed to the closures say they're now looking into what legal action they can take and are vowing not to give up their fight. Sharon Donaldson, STV.
Good morning. Campaigners against the closure of 7 of Aberdeen's schools are today vowing to fight on. Councillors voted for the closures after hours of discussion yesterday afternoon. Now parents say they'll take their battle to save the schools to court if necessary. Chris Harvey reports.
It was the decision that none of the parents or pupils wanted to hear. But yesterday, Aberdeen City Council voted to close or merge 7 primary and nursery schools. And with that decision, there was anger and tears.
We're just devastated, as are all the other schools. It's really quite disgusting. They obviously haven't listened to us, they haven't looked at the schools. Their minds were made up 2 months ago. They haven't thought of the children, and ultimately it's the children's futures we're talking about.
I think it's just absolutely ridiculous the way they went about it. They haven't listened to anything we've said. But this is not the end of the campaign for us. We're going to continue fighting.
Those against the closures had fought a very public campaign to save their schools, taking to the streets in their droves in a show of opposition at what they claimed was a threat to education provision in Aberdeen. At a protracted meeting, the council agreed to shut Victoria Road and Causeway End primaries and to merge St Macher and Don Bank. Hilton Nursery has also been axed, and Byron Park Nursery is to be merged with Westerton Primary.
Yes, I stand behind those decisions. What we have to look at is the fact that populations in the city shift. There are times when more schools are needed in one area than another. We're looking at 30,000 school places and only 22,000 school children.
We are spending money on buildings when we should be spending money on people's education. We also have a situation where we are soon going to have 9 new schools and 1 totally refurbished school under the 3 Rs project. And if we didn't react with the rest of the schools estate, we would have a tale of 2 schools estates, 1 fit for the 21st century and 1 not.
The councillors had already voted in favour of pressing ahead with the first round of the school's estate strategy. The local authority said the changes were necessary in light of funding issues and falling pupil numbers. They claimed they had no option. Today, those campaigning against the closures said they had no option but to fight on. Chris Harvey, STV News, Aberdeen.
Parents and children in Aberdeen say they're devastated several primary schools will be shut down. Councillors voted in favour of the closures and mergers last night, in spite of angry protests to keep them open. 6 primaries and 1 nursery will be affected, but campaigners say they won't give up.
I've now got to go home and tell my children the school's now closed. Their friendships will be split now between all their friends. They might never see friends again that they made at Causeway End. But this is not over. We're going to fight this till the very end and do our best to try and keep Causeway End School open.